Hello, everyone. Yes, hello, and welcome to our May didactic entitled From Sickness to Citizen. My name is Jonathan Clemente, and I'm here with Aaliyah Fitzgerald. We are both certified peer support specialists on psychosis care teams in Ohio and are also consultants for NEOMED. Today, Aaliyah and I would like to share with you elements of our own personal journey with psychosis to where we are now, being in a position to be able to help others. Please know that our stories are unique and that we do not speak on behalf of all people who have experienced psychosis. So again, our title is From Sickness to Citizen. It seemed as though I was conversing with a choir of angels. I heard voices and felt energy being conducted through the St. Jude medal I wore around my neck. I grasped the medal to seemingly transmit different spiritual frequencies. It had been revealed to me that my dad had committed several murders in the community, and now it was imperative that he be exposed for it. Somehow, supernaturally, I had cracked the code on a murder mystery that had plagued our community for decades. Too bad the cops stripped me of the medal and put me in the back of an EMS truck. They were corrupt too, bought at a price by my father's mob ties. Eventually, if I persevered in telling the truth, their corruption would be exposed too. But the world needs to know about these murders, and I would be the one to reveal it. Reveal it. Please know that I was blessed to have been born into a loving, supportive family that has given me tremendous opportunities to succeed throughout my life. Despite this, during my adolescence, I began to experiment with different substances. I'm not exactly sure what motivated me to take these risks with my mind. At this time, I performed well academically and had a bright future ahead of me. I may have experienced prodromal symptoms in high school, but it is difficult for me to distinguish this distinctly. I do remember more clearly in my early 20s that my substance use began to elicit psychotic symptoms. Though I didn't really understand what these terms meant, it was just that it was both alarming and confusing. Surely the people at the gas station knew. After all, I had been on the national evening news and my crimes against humanity exposed. The helicopters were likely providing some surveillance on my whereabouts. It was only a matter of time before I would be sent away to prison. With the organ that dictated my perception going haywire, it became difficult to distinguish what was true from what was false. At times, I feared that I had damaged my brain through the alcohol, cannabis, hallucinogens, and ecstasy that I took. Later, some have speculated that I was just self-medicating an underlying disorder. Maybe I'll find out which came first one day, the mental illness or the substance use. Regardless, I know I made many reckless decisions that caused much harm to my family, friends, and community. It was the interruptions to a consensual reality and the consequences to my behavior while under the influence that compelled me to get sober. Today, I've been sober since December 14th of 2003. Though challenging at times, living sober has given me a chance to treat my mental illness. Though the journey has been miraculous in different ways, there have also been many setbacks on the way. At times, I was paralyzed with indecision, even about simple life choices, such as what to order at a McDonald's. The ability to concentrate enough to read books was inconsistent. At the beginning, suicidal thoughts regularly plagued my psyche. Advancing my career was a cumbersome process, and it wasn't uncommon to be fired from a job. Building friendships, let alone romantic relationships, was often elusive. Despite being an honor student in high school, I was often reliant on social programs to help subsidize my housing costs. Despite being accepted into a respected graduate program, I ended up withdrawing shortly thereafter in a state of anosognosia. Sometimes the people put in my path to help me, I perceived as having malicious intentions. For this reason, I struggled to build rapport with psychiatrists and others in the helping profession. This psychiatrist is allied with the devil. He's trying to turn me away from the spiritual path I've been called to, and the medications are poisoning my sobriety. Whatever I do, it'd be better off if I didn't listen to the doctor about everything. After all, I can only trust him with so much. In 2017, I had a significant psychotic episode. I perceived that I could intercept the voices of my business colleagues through a wiretap implanted in my brain, and I imagined myself somehow neurologically linked to the internet, where I was directly picking up social media signals. Post Malone wrote that song for me? Obviously, they don't know that Donald Trump just tweeted about my innocence. Yes, but my father still wants me to be murdered for what I know. When I was hospitalized this last time, though, unlike previous attempts at treatment before, something clicked. I don't know exactly, but I didn't fight the course of treatment this time. At first, the doctors said it was schizophrenia, then bipolar disorder with psychotic features, and now schizoaffective disorder. Regardless, today I accept that I have some kind of disorder on the psychotic spectrum. During hospitalization, I was invited by my loving parents to attend a residential treatment known as Hopewell Therapeutic Farm. Hopewell is similar to the coordinated specialty care model in that there is a team of professionals working collaboratively together to discover solutions. At Hopewell, the psychiatrist discovered a group of effective meds that had less side effects. While on the farm, I participated in different forms of therapy that rejuvenated my spirit. Everything from interacting with nature to creating visual art and caring for animals. Here I also met other individuals diagnosed with serious mental illness who had similar life struggles to my own, and we became friends. In certain ways, these individuals offered me an informal form of peer support. Before my discharge from Hopewell, I saw a job posting asking for an individual with lived experience of a mental illness or substance use disorder. For the first time in my life, I felt overqualified for a job. I was hired by Catholic Charities to be a certified peer support specialist for their first episode psychosis program, where I facilitate weekly support groups for those who have experienced psychosis to help them to reintegrate in the community. Later, I was invited by NEOMED to be a consultant. In this role, I've created instructional videos on how to provide peer support, presented at statewide conferences, and given treatment recommendations to other mental health teams. In 2022, I was awarded the Scott Adamson Memorial Peer Award by the Greater Cleveland National Alliance for Mental Illness. Last summer, I was able to get back to Hopewell, but this time as a guest artist, working with residents and staff to create original earthworks, abstractions, and capture the landscape in plein air. Earlier this year, Catholic Charities invited me to be a panelist to speak in front of 300 people on the theme of mental health accompaniment. When I experienced my last psychotic episode, I was skeptical that I would ever meet someone to share my life with. However, my support group just kept encouraging me to put myself out there and make an effort. In May of 2024, I married my wife, and just a few weeks ago, we celebrated our first anniversary. We also recently made a significant purchase, and I can gratefully say that for the first time in my life, I am a homeowner. In my younger years, I was reluctant to advance my spirituality in practical ways, but today I strive to learn more about God's love, this time with both my feet on the ground. Today, I continue to engage in support groups and sponsor other men seeking to get sober. Oftentimes, people seek out my expertise as it pertains to helping individuals with co-occurring disorders. This next month, I was invited to speak at Hopewell Therapeutic Farm's Summer Solstice Benefit to share about how serious mental illness can be treated successfully, and that it's definitely not a hopeless condition. Please allow me to take a moment to thank you all for your efforts to help individuals affected by psychosis. Without the care and concern of people like you, I would not be in a position where I am today. While I still have a long way to go, I feel blessed to be in my right mind and to be an engaged citizen. I now give the floor to my colleague, Aaliyah. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Bear with me. I'm really nervous. Unwanted inclination in a quiet room, the sound of a non-existent radio playing a subtle tune and the never-ending void calling out my name. Soon I would unwillingly fall into a deep psychosis, state of mind only a mother could love. Delusions and hallucinations became my inescapable reality and personal hell. I'll call it Twilight Zone madness. The never-ending search for imaginary insects, dauntingly picking through carpet fibers. My companionship was a dull flashlight, coming through every inch of my couch and baseboards. Plus the quest to decipher numbers, auditory hallucinations that diminished my self-esteem, and the olfactory consistency of smelling smoke that preyed on my guilty anxiety. Sorry, I'm really nervous. My sick disposition led to family members seeking out assistance. I would become a patient at Allwell Behavioral Health. Soon I began my journey of finding the right provider, medication, and overall wellness plan. I started working with Jason Seckman. After a couple of sessions, I was obliviously diagnosed with schizophrenia. For the next several years, my world consisted of trial and error, consuming different medications and hiding in my apartment. I felt like a hamster spinning on a wheel, destination leading nowhere, spinning around and around the vantage point, just another pill, along with several side effects. Sedation, akathisia, numbness within my hands, the luxury of dropping a full bottle of Coca-Cola on a white carpet, and the constant state of dizziness which brought me to my knees. Clozaril was the last straw and my savior, along with the helping hand of lithium. Soon my symptoms improved. I also have to give credit to an amazing counselor who helped me along the way. I'll never forget when I was in my weakest moments, it only took one simple phrase to question my false perspective. Is that valid? He made me think and question my false reality. Most importantly, he taught me how to be me beyond the bias and diagnosis. So I'd like to take this opportunity to formally introduce myself. Hello, I'm Aaliyah Fitzgerald, daughter, sister, aunt, peer supporter, lover, hater, chain smoker, and a cheap poet. I just so happen to have schizophrenia. It's not easy, I still have my struggles, but with knowledge, medication, and obtaining coping skills, I'm able to live a more healthier, productive lifestyle. With this stability, I was offered a job position at Allwell to become a first program peer supporter, the same program that was part of my life for many years. I want to give a shout out to the first team and say thank you. Thank you for loving and caring about me when I didn't love or care about myself. Most of all, thank you for believing in me and making me feel special. I take great pride in my role as a peer supporter. I'm very happy I'm able to create an understanding, safe space for individuals like myself going through psychosis. And that's all I got.